My mother was a force of nature. She was a fierce single parent who raised my brother and I with an iron fist of guilt, wrapped in a velvet glove of unfathomable love. I adored her, respected her, and was terrified of disappointing her. But my mom was wrong a lot. For example, she said I would outgrow my acne. High school would be the best time of my life. My relationship with my then boyfriend, now husband, would never last. Most depressing that I had to get along with my brother because it would only be the two of us when she died. In fact, it was just her and I for 11 years after my brother died. She ended up wrong again when she said she would kick breast cancer's ass. I became a mother for the first time 15 months before my own mother died. Motherhood altered the very foundation of my world. I had spent so much of my life being right before I gave birth to my son. Most of the time, I was right when I was talking to my mother. I rolled my eyes a lot. I sneered at her when she said something ridiculous. Of course, I only did that when she couldn't see me. I was a jerk, not stupid. The 11 years following my brother's death were filled with haunted conversations, often ending in stony silence because neither one of us wanted to hear the pain hiding in the other's words. But in those first few days after my son was born and I held my tiny child in trembling arms, absolutely convinced I was going to fail him in every possible way, I had a glimpse into the abyss my mother had spent the past 11 years living in. In those first hazy days of sore nipples, foamy green poop, realizing I loathed cloth diapers, and truly seeing the world for the death trap it was, my mother stopped being wrong. My mother became a bridge to sanity, the anchor I attached to when depression began to unravel myself. She was my lighthouse. My mother also changed when she held her grandson for the first time. As we expected, we could see hints of my brother in the turned up nose, chubby arms and legs, and rather large head. But they weren't harbingers of depressing memories and constant comparisons. Instead, they were a healing for my mother and myself, and we began to unfold and let air into stagnant wounds. My mother opened her heart again, and I got to hear her glorious belly laugh when my son giggled at her for the first time. I remember the feeling of the steady drip of tears down my face when I realized my mother was never coming home from palliative care. It had been 6 months from her diagnosis with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, and 1 month since she had lost the ability to walk and talk easily. It had been a week since we were making jokes about my having to change 2 sets of diapers now. I had been commuting from West Vancouver to Richmond Hospital every day while my in-laws had been watching my son, and I wasn't spending enough time with either my child or my dying mother. I sobbed into my husband's shoulder that I didn't know how to be a mother and a daughter at the same time. On one of my daily pilgrimages to my mother's bedside, my husband and son joined me. Mom was still able to sit up and move her arms, so we put this little bundle of energy on her hospital bed in her lap. He was confused and shy. She had changed so much in a few short months, but she was still able to reach forward and beep his nose, just like she had done 1,000 times before. And he reached forward and gently beeped her nose back. It was one of the last times I saw her laugh. The last words she spoke to me were, "I love you," 2 weeks later. The last 2 nights of my mother's life, I slept on a plastic fold-out chair in her hospice room. I played Katie Lang's version of Hallelujah, Pachelbel's Canon in D major, and Bye Bye Miss American Pie. And I held her hand. I cried and rubbed lotion onto her dry feet, and I told her she could go find my brother now. I slowly dripped water onto her parched lips and told her I was going to be okay because I had been raised by a fierce, proud, strong, and resourceful woman whom I knew would love me forever and love me for always. The October morning my mother died was crisp and cloudless. The sun shone directly through her hospice window, making the frost on the mountain ash trees sparkle, casting little rainbows into her room. While I held her hand, waiting for the rest of the family to arrive to say goodbye, I realized I knew how to be a mother and a daughter. My mother was right. Just love them forever and for always.